Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Sean Zittel with FightHype.com. And as we're closing out this weekend, a weekend that was supposed to include Jake Paul against Hasim Rahman Jr. at Madison Square Garden this past Saturday, I thought I'd take a look at the full sparring session released earlier today by Jake Paul's YouTube channel and just take a look at the 5 rounds both guys did. There was a lot of contention in what turned out to be the final press conference in New York City between both of them. Jake Paul said he dominated the sparring session. Hasim Rahman Jr. said he essentially just used one hand and held back.
Show the footage of you turning around as soon as you get the back cut.
You got your ass beat, you know it.
How? How? You in here jumping on top of turnbuckles? There's no winner or loser in sparring. When I'm back to in the corner,
why are you so mad?
Why you turn around and run? Why you turn
so
around
mad
and run?
after?
Who runs in a boxing ring? You ran like you was in the track.
After?
He's a runner. He's a track star.
Let's take a look at the tape, and we're not here to really discredit or demean either fighter. So if you're looking for, nitpicks, taking away from their skill or whatever, there's really not going to be that much that. It's going to be more complimentary because at the end of the day, these two could beat up 99% of us watching this at home in the boxing ring. So not going to get too crazy there. Let's go ahead and check out the sparring session. It was my first time ever watching it. I'm watching it along with you guys. And let's see what we got in the fight that never was. All right, let's check it out. Yeah, Rahman starting on his knees, clowning around. I've only really seen the first 40 seconds of this. So again, this is my first time really watching it all the way through. So you're getting my reactions as they come. And we're not trying to really be on the nitpicky side here. We're, trying to just point out what each guy's doing. Good jab by Rock. Rahman Jr.'s always had it. That is his best punch, is his jab. So let's see how Jake is dealing with the jab. Good jab to the body back by Jake. Both guys starting with that jab to the body. And that was a good lead left hook. So I've seen this. I've seen the first 40 seconds by Rock. And then right there, he gets out of the way. Jake Paul does 2 or 3 left hooks. And I'll even pause it right there. To give him props, he gets hit with the shot, the lead left hook, and then he gets away from it 2 or 3 times thereafter. So props to him for recognizing the shot he got hit by. And then props to him for ducking his head out the way because that looks and sounds easy, but actually, I had a couple amateur fights in the amateurs, and the most basic defense you learn is catch like this, and then same for the body. You bring your elbows down to catch the body shots, and you bring these up to parry and catch the shots coming. But head movement is another level above that, and moving your head is tough. It's something I never got down. You see some fighters, even in the pros, always stay with the handcuffs, with the high guard, and they never really get comfortable moving their head. So, as rudimentary as it might seem, props to him for even recognizing he got hit with the lead hook and then dipping underneath the next 2 or 3. So beyond this point, I've never seen anything beyond this point now. So here we go. Little pull right hand counter by Rock over Jake's jab, and then Jake coming back with a 2-1. But Rock said he didn't use his right hand. He only used his lead hand, but he did use that little right hand counter over Jake's jab already, and then you saw him throwing the right hand to the body off his jab. He's letting his right hand go early. Good jab by Jake. I noticed something from Jake when he jabs, to get his head off the line, he dips his head all the way kind of down near to where his hip is at. And it does successfully get his head off the line, but he's not really in a favorable position from there. He can't do much out of that position defensively or off. See, every time he throws the jab to get his head off the line, he dips his head down. And sometimes it's successful in getting him out of the way. But a guy who can follow it up and knows he's going to dip his head there every time, that becomes predictable. They can make him pay for that. So you'll see he does that every time. He dips his head down to his right when he throws a shot. Good timing there by both guys. Rock was kind of touching with that right hand, just trying to measure, and then Jake threw his jab at the same time Rock did. Rahman Jr. with that Devin Haney shirt on. Yeah, Rock's trying to time that jab with Jake. But Rahman, you can tell, is pretty relaxed. He's the more relaxed, composed, experienced fighter in there. You can tell that by body language early on. You see Jake right there in his eyes, a little more tensed up. You see that deep breath right there as he drops his hands to his side. That's him trying to take a deep breath and get relaxed like Rocket. Good right hand by Jake Paul right there. Jake trying to bait Rock into coming forward, walk him into that right hand. Jake fighting off that back foot, trying to walk him into a right hand. It's like both guys want to come over the top of the other guy's jab. They both like that jab to the body. Rock said he was holding back, and I could see that a little bit. He kind of, there's a few times it looks like his positioning is better than Jake's, but he's not pulling the trigger. See right there, he wanted to come over the top of Jake's jab. That's what Rock's looking for. Now Jake's coming forward. Because Rock wasn't taking the bait. Rock didn't keep coming forward, walking into the right hand like Jake wanted, so now Jake's coming forward. Jake's forgotten for a moment here about walking him into it. He's coming forward. So Jake touching with that jab. There's that little dip by Jake. Got underneath the left hook again. So he hasn't been hit by it since he got hit with it in that first 30 seconds. And both guys had some decent success with their jab. Neither guy's dominating the jab. They've both gotten it off to the body. They've even traded it and landed it at the same time at times. Good combination there by Jake. Rock caught it. But Jake doing what he's supposed to do. If this guy's not going to walk into it, if he's not going to take the bait and walk into your right hand, you got to go forward and let some combinations go. I think, you know, this is 2.5 years ago, but even in that Tyron Woodley rematch, Jake don't throw a lot of punches, and you saw that round. He didn't throw a lot of punches that round. But two competitive rounds, you know, not a lot of crazy action. I don't think either guy was dominating the other in the jab department. Jake tried to get Rock to come forward, bait him into walking into a right hand. Rock didn't really take the bait. So then Jake, in about 1 or 2 sequences there, went forward and let his combinations go, but Rock caught him on the gloves for the most part. But nothing for either guy to brag about yet in these first 2 rounds. There's Jake trying to go to that body, though. He hasn't felt comfortable letting his right hand go against this look from Rock in the first 2 as much, so he let that one go to the body. There's a right hand. He led with it that time instead of trying to get it off the jab. That was a good combo by Jake. Now Rock wants a little get back. Good jab by Jake. Jake finding something this round. He's having a better round than he did in the first 2. You see that look in Rock's eyes. He sees that Jake having a little more success. Good job by Jake, knowing Rock wanted to get back, so he takes a few steps out of range. Now he's back in range, dips his head around. Good jab by Jake. He out-jabbed Rock there. He's out-jabbing Rock this round. And Rock's, you know, a big fella. sometimes that gas tank, it starts to go a little. And yeah, see, Jake's getting off combinations now to the body to set up the head. That was smart by Jake. That was smart by Jake. He's using the jab, and then he starts his combination to the body and finishes up top. No, we're not looking. You know, we're not looking at a good jab by Rock there, double jab. Jake dropping that right hand there. Ate the jab. Look, guys, I know we're not looking at any Sugar Ray Robinson, but you know, for a guy who started boxing about three and a half years ago, he's doing some good things that you can definitely only acquire from training hard. Yeah, Rock Jr. just not letting anything go this round. Good jab by Jake. Got off first. Ooh, good left hook, right hand. But Jake turning his back there, like doing a 360. You can't do that in the boxing ring. You can't turn your back to your opponent, obviously. That's that novice stuff showing up. But he did land a right hand left hook right before that. But Rahman was amused by him turning his back like that. That's the kind of stuff Rahman was talking about. Quick little lead right hand there by Jake. Double jab to the body. See how he dips his head to the right there every time he lets that lead hand go. Again, I mean, it does get his head off the line, but he's going to have to be more sophisticated than that when he starts fighting actual boxers with 8-ounce gloves on. But that was a good round for Jake. No question about who got the better of that round. So first two were pretty competitive, pretty nip and tuck, but that third round, Rock really wasn't able to throw any punches, and Jake took advantage of it. He's starting off this fourth round with a better jab, but Jake did a good job coming in with a couple combinations, jumping in with a few combinations, sensing when Rock wanted to get back and took his step back out and then reset it and step back in. Good jab there by Jake. Jake's getting confidence now. You could see midway through that third round, he found his confidence in this matchup. Two good body shots and an uppercut. That was a good combination by Jake. And he did what they tell you to do, is you work your levels, you start to the body and you finish to the head, and you create it off the jab. And that is what I see Jake doing. And then he steps back out and starts over. Right there, he feinted the jab and came with a left hook. He's doing some technical things in there. And this is in 2020. He's gotten even better since now. Gotta give him credit watching this. And again, Rahman Jr. said this was just work to him. I mean, this isn't Rahman treating it like a full-fledged fight. His stamina, you know, he wasn't. Jake was in the middle of training for a fight with Nate Robinson. Rock did not have a fight scheduled at this time. So Rahman is capable of better than he's showing here in the sparring. It's why when he had his energy in the first two rounds, you know, it was pretty 50-50. Actually, he probably may have gotten there's that moment where Jake ran. There's that moment. Let's take it back. Let's rewind to that, because that for Rahman Jr. was his infamous moment.
That's the shot. Step 2. Good.
Yeah, ideally there, you know, Jake's able to not have to literally turn his back and can bicycle motion off the ropes, you know, step over to his right, step over to his right, step over to his right. But he wasn't able to do that, and so he literally just, you know, took a little jog across. But, you know, he wanted to get from point A to point B, and he saw that as the quickest way possible. So it wasn't textbook.
Who's gonna be first? Who's gonna be first? Is he gonna get there?
He's going to be for now. Rock's starting to talk. That could be a sign of frustration.
You haven't the whole fight though.
I know.
So what's up?
I'm gonna go now. So
Because maybe he knows Jake's starting to get a little bit of the better of this, and his energy isn't where he needs it to be to act on all the openings he sees. And once you start doing this talking stuff, I feel like that's probably Jake's wheelhouse. He likes doing that kind of mind games.
focused. Don't let them talk you out your game.
Good right hand to the body by Jake. But this feels like frustration from my man Rock Jr.
Keep working, problem child. Stick. A little bounce.
I think Rock is seeing openings. There's a little lead right hand, and Jake comes back with the combination to back him back off. But I think Rock is seeing openings, but that energy ain't all the way there to pull the trigger on everything. But those are back-to-back good rounds for Jake. And again, you know, fighters think it's silly to score sparring. And by the way, I have seen world champions get worked over by amateurs in the gym, you know, for multiple times. And then if they show up to the gym one day to make a point as if it was a fight, they kick the amateur's ass. I've seen, you know, guys get tuned up by guys with several losses in the gym, but it's different once it's fight time, and that's something Rock kept making a point of. And it's important to note as we watch the sparring. But let's see here, round 5 in the sparring.
Come on, I'm tired. Come on, I'm tired.
Rock just said, "I'm tired. I'm tired." Come on, so he's admitting it. Good jab by Jake.
Good jab. I'm still not leaving the gloves. Come on.
And Rock's pride is starting to talk.
Get up. Come on.
Get in that bag. Get in that bag. Get in that bag.
I'm not leaving the gloves. Come on.
Sometimes fighters will do this.
I'm
I'm not able to capitalize and make the adjustments and make a good right hand by Jake as Rock's, you know, not able to react as well to these punches as his body getting more tired. But
Let's go. Come on, it's time.
sometimes I'm not really able to do physically what I want in the ring, so I'm gonna just start talking to you and letting you know that you can't hurt me and that this isn't, you know, I'm man enough to take this and those kinds of things.
Yep. Keep coming. That's your body too. Keep coming. Keep your head off the line. Jab straight. You got it.
And now Jake was trying to walk Rock into a right hand earlier in the fight, and now he's being a little wary not to just let Rock load up on one big shot as Rock turns southpaw. So he's still cautious of what's coming back. That's why you don't see him being reckless. You see him, you know, touching with the jab, and then he waits until Rock kind of turned to the side, and then he let his right hand go. But you know, he's still cautious, still being on his P's and Q's against Rock Jr. Not letting the talk let him get reckless against a guy who's a pro. Good right hand by Jake. Good right hand by Jake. He shot it off the jab. Decent speed on it too. The 2 came right after the 1.
Yeah, there you go.
You sound like Floyd Mayweather.
I do. You don't sound like Floyd though. I'll tell you that much.
I wasn't trying to. I sound like Jake Paul, bitch.
Sound like him. That shit look good.
Rock is just not letting any punches go now these last 3 rounds, man. I know some coaches would say if you're not too tired, if you're not too tired to keep talking and you're not too tired to throw punches. I just know that's something I've heard coaches say, but it's not something I'm saying.
I got it all. They didn't do nothing. I'm still talking shit. They didn't do nothing.
Time.
That's it. That's 3 good rounds for Jake. And
still.
yeah, that's him being him. And fighters, you know, A-side fighters, they'll do that. He's definitely not the only guy I've seen talk his shit after a sparring session, but that's what Rock Jr. took offense to. Feeling like he came in and gave this guy work, and now you've done maybe a little better than you expected to do against a guy like Rock Jr. And you're kind of you're gloating about it. So I understand Rock not liking that. But to be fair to Jake, I've seen a lot of fighters, guys that A-side fighters, guys that make money. They talk a lot to the people in the gym. I've seen it in that very gym. They're in that gym, Bones Adams Ranch. I've seen guys do that. So Jake's not alone. But yeah, the first 2 rounds, I thought Rock won. I thought Rock may have got the better of that first round. Second round was competitive. And then in the 3rd round, Jake made some nice adjustments in there. And, Rock really had had no energy in 4 and 5 to get off punches. So yeah, Jake gets better of a sparring session. And I mean, whatever, you know, that happens all the time in boxing. I think Rahman is upset because he knows he's capable of so much more than that, and now he's got to deal with this guy feeling like he got over on him and whatnot. And you know, that's frustrating when you feel like you're not on your best day, but the other guy was, and he got the better of you. You want another crack at it. And obviously Jake is probably, you know, feeling overjoyed with how he handled himself with a legitimate pro heavyweight.
I just want to know now who the beat. Because I was a bitch a minute ago. What's up? What's up, bro? What's up, bro?
Here, take the gloves off. Take the gloves off.
I think Rahman, you know, in addition to getting up on the turnbuckle, he would have appreciated some etiquette of respect coming over. Hey, good work, bro.
I'd be mad too if I got my ass beat for 5 rounds by a YouTuber. Stay mad.
Right, that's what I mean. He's you know, he's talking his trash and all that, and I think what Rock would have appreciated was more the etiquette of respect. But you know, he started talking in there first, and things got heated. This shit happens in the gym literally all the time. It's not a big deal.
I try to bring that man professional work.
J. Leon Love there. Fought David Benavidez, fought some top guys trying to calm Rahman Jr. down. Because he's known Rock since he was a young guy, and you know, that's what he's telling him. I think Rock's just upset because he knows he's capable of more, and Jake got the better of him in this sparring session, and that doesn't help. The guy dancing around the ring and running on the turnbuckle. So Rock, I think, obviously wanted that fight to go down over this last weekend that never was, this past August 6th. He was gonna come a lot more prepared than he was for just a sparring session here. But it never was to be. So I understand where Rock's coming from, and but I give credit to Jake. He had a good sparring session here, particularly considering it was 2.5 years ago and he's gotten a lot better. So so that's it, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. It was fun to watch it while it lasted. Be looking at more tapes here. We're gonna, you know, we got Teofimo Lopez versus Pedro Campa coming up. Might take a look at some tape from that after that fight's done, and so keep it locked here on FightHype. Stuff like this happens in the gym more often than maybe you'd think, or maybe you'd expect it to in a sport like boxing. But sparring session was what it was. It's too bad we never got what we wanted on August 6th, because both fighters were going to be significantly better than we saw in this clip. Jake Paul has had a couple fights. It's been 2.5 years since this fight. He's only gotten better. And Rahman Jr., he was going to have his gas tank ready. You know, he managed to get down to 206.6, but the fight never happened. But I think Rahman, you saw, got the better of that first round. Second round was 50-50. Him with a full gas tank. Jake Paul definitely would have had his hands full, but we never get to see it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. Keep it locked in on FightHype.